Welcome to JMC Learning. Today our lesson is stock market. Companies. What are the companies? There are different type of companies in the world and in our country. But in this lesson today we are discuss about the companies registered under the Companies Act number 7 of 2007. The companies which are limited by shares can be classified into two. They are private limited companies and public limited companies. In this lesson, we are mainly focused about the public limited companies. These public limited companies issuing shares to the general public for raise to capital to commence or continue their business. I'll give an example. Now I am going to start a business. I need 1 lakh, but I haven't 1 lakh. I have only 1000 rupees, but I want to earn or I want to take that on another remaining parts. So I am categorizing this 1 lakh into equal numbers. I am taking 100 parts. I am taking that 1 lakh and dividing that into equal parts. It's 100 parts. Then these parts we are calling as shares. I am categorizing these capital gain into equal parts. Then these are the shares. These shares can buy by the general public. Then other general public also can join to my business, and I also want to give the profit after a year. Then the place we can buy and sell these shares called a share market. Then shares. What are the shares? I gave a small description about the shares earlier. The public limited companies which are listed in the stock market that wish to raise capital by involving the public do this by issuing shares. That means the main person is issuing shares to the general public, and a share is one of the equal part into which a company's stated capital is divided. Then that shares are equal to each other. We are dividing the main money into equal parts. That they are the shares. I'll give an example. An investor buys 500 shares from the 10,000 shares. Then what is the fraction of this line? 500 shares from the 10,000 shares. That means 500 out of 10,000. Then issued to the public by the certain company. Express this as a percentage. First let's write this part as a fraction. Then to take the percentage, you have to multiply this one by 100%. That means 500 over 10,000 into 100%. Let's simplify this one. We can cut these two zeros and these two zeros. Then other two zeros. Left only 5. 5 into 1 is equal to 5%. Then answer is 5%. What is the meaning of this 5%? The investor has 5% ownership of the company. That means this investor buys 500 shares from the 10,000 shares. Then that investor has the ownership of 5%. When annually the owner take the profit, after that owner has to pay 5% of the profit to that investor. This is the meaning of this 5%. Let's do this sum. Company P, which has a stated capital of 5 lakhs rupees, issues 10 shares to the public at 75 per share. That means value of 1 share is 75. Kamal buys 2,500 of these shares. Then express Kamal's share in a company as a fraction. Then the Kamal buys 2,500 shares. All the number of shares are 10,000. Then how can you write this as a fraction? 2,500 over 10,000. This one you can simplify, cut zeros, then can be divided by 25. Only one 25 is there. There are 4 25s in 100. Then as a fraction, the answer is 1 over 4. Then let's write it as a percentage. How can you write this as a percentage? You have to do a simple thing. That means the same thing you have to multiply by 100%. Then we have taken the answer as 1 over 4. This 1 over 4 should be multiplied by 100%. Then answer is 25%. Then you can use this fraction also to find the same answer. We will find this like this. 2,500 over 10,000 multiplied by 100%. Then cut 2 zeros. These 2 zeros. Left only 25. That means 25%. There are 2 methods. Then find the amount that Kamal invested in company P. The 1 share is 75. How many shares that Kamal buys? 2,500. Now let's find how much of money that Kamal invested in company P. What you have to do? You have to multiply 75 by 2,500. Then we can take the answer as 1,87,500. This is the amount that Kamal has invested. Dividends. What are the dividends? When a listed company issues new shares, it gives notice of the benefits that shareholders will enjoy. And dividends are payment out of the earning of the company, which some companies give their shareholders as a benefit. That means when I buy some shares from a company, after 1 year or a quarter of the year, I can take some of the money from that shares. It is given for a 1 share. That means I have taken 250 shares, then annually they are paying 5 rupees for a 1 share. This is the dividends. Okay. Then after 1 year, how much of money I can take by taking these 250 shares? Then for a 1 share, they are paying 5 rupees. That 5 you have to multiply by 250. Then you can find how much of money you can take after 1 year. Then it is expressed in terms of the amount paid per share. I have told this one, the dividends is paid per a share. This is paid quarterly or annually. It is different to different companies. Now let's do this example. Company P pays annual dividends of 3 rupees per share. The dividends is 3 rupees. That 3 rupees is paying for a 1 share. For the 75 rupee shares it is issued, of which Kamal bought 2500 shares. Then how many shares that Kamal has bought? 2500. The value of one share is 75 rupees. Annually or quarterly, the company is paying the dividends is 3 rupees per share. Let's find the annual income that Kamal receives through this investment. How can you find the annual income? The dividends is 3 rupees. He has bought 2500 shares. You have to multiply this both, because the dividends is paying after a 1 year or quarter of year. Then the annual income that Kamal receives after buying these shares is equal to 7500 rupees. Then here rupees. Second one, express Kamal's annual income as a percentage of the amount he invested. How much of money that he has invested? We have to find that one, because one share is 75 rupees. He has bought 2500 shares. First you have to find how much of money that Kamal has invested in the company. Then to find that one, you have to multiply this both. 75 should be multiplied by 2500. After multiplying these two, you can take the answer as 1,87,500. Then after, let's find this as a percentage. He invested 1,87,500, but after 1 year he can collect 7,500. Then we can write it as a fraction, 7,500 over 1,87,500. To take a percentage, you have to multiply this fraction by 100%. Then let's find the annual income as a percentage of his investment. Then let's simplify them. 0 and 0 can cut. Then 75,000 you have to divide by 1,875. Then you can take the answer as 40%. Then trading in the stock market. What is it? Then primary market. What is the meaning of primary market and what happened in the primary market? Where investors buy new shares issued by a company. In the primary market, you can buy only. The shares can't sell in the primary market. The shares can only be bought in the primary market. Then secondary market. What is the secondary market? Subsequent to the original issuance of shares in the primary market, trading of shares can be done by investors in secondary market. Then the price of a share in the secondary market is called the market price. In the secondary market, we can sell and we can buy the shares. Then capital gain. What is the purchase price? What is the meaning of purchase price? The price at which a share is bought in a company at the initial offering or later at the market price. Then purchasing price means the cost. Then selling price. Selling price means the market price at which it is sold. Now, when an investor sells shares he owns, he may make a profit or incur a loss. Always when we are taking something, just think a vehicle also, after buying the vehicle we are selling that vehicle. At that time also sometimes we are taking profit, sometimes we are taking a loss. So in these businesses also the same thing happen. Then the selling price is less than the purchase price means it's a capital gain. The selling price is increasing, then we can take an profit. Capital gain, then how can you find? By considering this formula, you can take capital gain by selling price subtract purchase price. Then when the selling price is less than the purchase price, it is a loss. Then how can you find the capital loss? By using this formula. The capital loss we are finding purchase price subtract selling price. Using them, let's simplify some sums. Mr. Silva, who invests in the stock market, bought 1,500 shares in a certain company when the market price of a share was 15 rupees. When the market price of a share increased to 20 rupees, he sold all his shares. Then first question is, find the amount Mr. Silva invested in the company. Then how much of shares he bought? 1,500. The value of one share is 15 rupees. Then how much that Mr. Silva invested to this company? How can you find it? 15 you have to multiply by 1,500. Then it is equal to 22,500 rupees. Then find the amount he made by selling the shares. Then he bought 1,500 shares. After that he sold that all the shares to 20 rupees. That means when that Mr. Silva sell the shares, the value of one share is 20 rupees. Then how much that he can take after selling that all the shares? Now the value is 20 rupees. 20 rupees you have to multiply the number of shares. Now it's equal to 30,000. He invests 22,500 rupees. After selling that shares, he can take 30,000 rupees. Find his capital gain. Then how can you find the capital gain? Yes, after selling the shares, he bought 30,000 rupees. Then when he bought the shares, he have to invest 22,500 rupees. To take the capital gain, you have to subtract the selling price and the purchase price. Selling price, here 3,000 is a selling price. And here 22,500 mean purchase price. Then 7,500 mean capital gain. Then let's move to next question. Express his capital gain as a percentage of his investment. Now how much is the capital gain? Here we have found the capital gain. Now this one you have to represent as a percentage. Then how much is his investment? It is 22,500. That 7,500 you have to divide by 22,500. To represent it as a percentage, you have to multiply by 100%. Let's simplify. Then you can divide this both by 25. There are 3, 0. This one also you have to divide by 25. For 100, there are 4 25s are there. Here 200 mean 8 and 225 mean there are 9 25s in 225. Then divide 3000 by 9. First let's divide by 3. Here 3, here 100. Then 100 divide by 3. Answer is 33.33%. Then let's move to next example. Mr. Pereira, who is an investor in the stock market, invests 40,000 rupees to buy shares of a company at the market price of 80 rupees per share. He invests 40,000 rupees and one share is 80 rupees. The company pays annual dividends of 6 rupees per share. Let's find the number of shares Mr. Pereira buys. He invested 40,000 rupees and the price of one share is 80 rupees. To find the number of shares, you have to divide 40,000 by 80. Then what is the answer? Let's divide this one by 8. Here 5. Then how many shares that Mr. Pereira buys? 500 shares. Then find the annual dividend income Mr. Pereira receives. Now how many shares he has? 500. After 1 year, they are paying 6 rupees per share. Number of shares are 500. That 500 you have to multiply by 6. Then what is the answer? 6 into 0, 0. 6 into 0, 0. 6 into 5, 30. That means after 1 year, he can take the dividend as 3,000 rupees. After 1 year, Mr. Pereira sells all the shares and makes a capital gain of 3,500. Then find the selling price of a share. Here they have given the capital gain. Earlier we learned capital gain is equal to selling price subtract purchase price. In this question, we have to find the selling price. Here, when you take the selling price as a subject, you have to take the purchase price to this side. That means capital gain and the purchase price you have to add to take the selling price. Then selling price is equal to capital gain is 3,500. Purchase price is earlier that Mr. Pereira invested 40,000. That purchase price you have to add here. This is the selling price, but in this question you have to find the selling price of a share. How many shares that he has bought? There are 500 shares. So to find the selling price of one share, you have to divide this value by 500. Then 3,500 and 40,000 divide by 500. Then when you add these two, it's equal to 0, 0, 0 and 5, 0 and 3, here 4. This one you have to divide by 500. You can cut two zeros. After dividing by 5 to 43, there are 8, then 35, 7. Then what is the selling price of a share? It is equal to 87. Mr. Pereira adds 3,500 rupees to the capital gain and dividend income he receives and deposits the whole amount for a period of 2 years in a fixed deposit account which pays an annual compound interest rate of 10%. Can you remember the capital gain? How much is the capital gain? It is 3,500, and we have found the dividend income. The dividend income was 3,000. Then the question is, find the total amount in the account at the end of the 2 years. Amount of money deposit in the bank. Let's find that one. Then you have to add this all amount, 3,500. Here capital gain is 3,500. Dividend income is 3,000. This all amount he has deposits in the bank. Then let's add them. How much is the answer? Here 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, 9,000. 500, 500 in again 100. 9,000 and 100 is 1,000 is equal to 10,000. Then amount of money deposit in the bank is 10,000. Now let's find the amount of money in the bank after 2 years. Then the value is 10,000. First he deposited 10,000 rupees. Then the money after 1 year, how can you find that one? That 10,000 you have to multiply 110 over 100. Why is it? The interest rate is 10%. With the money you have to take 110, because the total money is, we are taking as 100 plus interest, it is 110. So to take the money in the bank after 1 year, you have to multiply this 10,000 with 110 over 100. But here we have to find the money after 2 years. So you have to multiply this 10,000 2 times with 110 over 100. That means 10,000 multiply 110 over 100 multiply by 110 over 100. After multiplying this one, you can take the value after 1 year. Then after taking this one, you can take the value after 2 years. Let's simplify this one. These 2 zeros can cut. These 2 zeros can cut. You have to multiply this 110 and 110. Here 11 into 11, 121 and 2 zeros. Finally, the answer is 12,100. I think you learn this lesson and you can understand this lesson. Now you can do all the exercises in this lesson.